Now listen to this. Yesterday, during an exclusive interview at NTV, Raila Odinga said something very weird about the former head of state, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the Jubilee Party. Raila Odinga said that number one, his handshake with the president, William Samoei Arap Ruto, that actually happened after the Gen Z protests of last year, was not Raila Odinga's idea, but it was Uhuru Kenyatta's idea. Raila Odinga has always been blamed by the Gen Zs that Raila Odinga betrayed the Gen Zs, whereby Raila became the beneficiary of the Gen Z protests. That is why Raila Odinga currently is in government. But Raila is blaming Uhuru Kenyatta for that, for his handshake with William Ruto. Number two, Raila Odinga is also saying that the formation of the broad-based government with William Ruto was also not his idea. It was the idea of the former head of state, Uhuru Kenyatta. I'll play for you the video right now. Raila Odinga is telling us that Uhuru Kenyatta played a very, very big role and a very important role in the formation of the broad-based government between Raila and William Ruto that actually led to Raila Odinga appointing his experts from the ODM party to Ruto's government. It was Uhuru Kenyatta's idea. Raila is telling us that Uhuru Kenyatta himself, after the Gen Z protest, Uhuru was pushing for the unity between Raila and William Ruto. Uhuru wanted Raila Odinga to unite with William Ruto for the sake of the country. Do you really trust what Raila Odinga is telling us here? So let me play for you this video here of what exactly Raila Odinga said and also the response from Uhuru Kenyatta's allies. They want Raila Odinga to stop invoking Uhuru Kenyatta's name, to stop dragging Uhuru Kenyatta's name in his handshake with William Ruto. Now, listen very keenly to what Raila Odinga is telling us here.
But then the international community intervened, and we had a conversation with President Ruto and agreed to set up a task force to mediate and come up with proposals of how to deal with the issues in contention. It was led by Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and Mr. Kimani Ichung'wah. They came up with what we call the NADCO report. And we then said the NADCO report needed to be implemented. It was taken to Parliament, but there was quite a bit of prevarication, but it eventually went through Parliament. But before it was implemented, then, of course, the Gen Z issue came up.
June 2024.
Just June 2024. Had the NADCO report been implemented earlier, we would not have ended up with the
Gen Z protests?
Exactly. Because the issues that the youth were raising were very similar to the ones that we were raising the previous year. Now, the youth, of course, say that they were out to finish the job. They asked me to stay home. And I did respect their wishes, and I stayed home. And, of course, they went further than we had gone. They stormed the Parliament. They even stormed the judiciary. And they were on their way to State House when they were blocked by the forces. But when they overwhelmed the police, then the regime tried to bring the military. When we protested that military cannot be deployed on civilian population without express authority of parliament, they went to parliament and coerced parliament to pass it. It showed the military on the streets for the first time, which was a very dangerous development. Now they were stalemate at that time, and there was a danger that ultimately the military would come to take over. We were almost on the brink of that happening at that time. But then when that happened, there were speculations as to what was going to happen. The Gen Zs were not able now to come on the streets, and that was actually going to create a state of anarchy in our country. We've seen what has happened in other countries in a similar situation. So in that charged environment, one of my colleagues, President Uhuru Kenyatta, called me. He was in the US, and basically suggested that although he knows I don't want to talk to Mr. Ruto, in the interest of the country, I need to find a way of talking to him.
When was this?
Pardon?
When was this? Immediately after the Gen Z protests?
Do you remember I issued a statement condemning what was happening and urged President Ruto to take measures to stop what was happening, the brutality that was taking place. I did not even have to eventually look for Mr. Ruto. He asked to come and see me and agreed that we could talk. When we had discussions, I was very clear to him. I said, this is the issues, these have come up because you did not implement the NARCO report. That's why we are where we are today. And under these circumstances, you must have a broader conversation to bring the people together so that you can be able to confront the issues which are in contention. He was reluctant, but eventually he agreed. And he announced that he was going to convene a forum for Kenyans to have a discussion on the issues in contention. Of course, this was rejected by the Gen Zs, that it was a waste of time, because I supported this proposal. It was actually my idea. But then they say that, we have had these conversations several times, the issues are clear, that the government just need to implement what is being demanded. Then Ruto actually came up and said, okay, I'm going to dissolve the cabinet. And I'm also not going to sign the finance bill. I'm referring it back to Parliament. In my view, that is what pricked the balloon.
Now, after Raila Odinga talked that way about Uhuru Kenyatta during that particular interview, the response from Uhuru Kenyatta's very, very close political allies from Jubilee, Uhuru Kenyatta's loyalists, clearly shows that we have a problem, and a very, very big problem, between Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. The people from the Jubilee Party are accusing Raila Odinga of a betrayal. But Raila Odinga is telling them, no, don't blame me, blame Uhuru Muigai wa Kenyatta. This is the statement from the Jubilee Party Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni, a very close political ally of Uhuru Kenyatta. He says, I completely disagree with what Raila Odinga is saying. Because if talking to Uhuru Kenyatta is what exactly led to him to appoint experts, then was the problem really about the experts? If you always wanted to join President William Ruto, that is your own issue. But don't drag, listen to this, don't drag Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee Party into it. Do not blame anybody. Jeremiah Kioni is telling us here that Uhuru Kenyatta, if he talked with Raila Odinga, it did not mean that Raila Odinga should have appointed his experts to William Ruto's government. Yes, Uhuru, if he talked with Raila Odinga, was on matters to deal with the Gen Z's protest and to solve, for the sake of the country, right? For the sake of the country, but not to join William Ruto's government. But Raila Odinga took that advantage. Raila Odinga took the advantage of Uhuru Kenyatta's advice to speak with William Ruto. Raila Odinga went there instead of speaking with William Ruto to end the issues that the Gen Zs were protesting about. Raila Odinga went there and joined the government. And currently, he is the beneficiary. That is exactly what Jeremiah Kioni is trying to tell us here. Now, this problem between Uhuru and Raila Odinga began after the Gen Z protests. That is where the problem began. Otherwise, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were very, very united. They were good together. But Uhuru Kenyatta looks at Raila Odinga as a betrayer. He joined William Ruto's government instead of solving the issues that were raised by the Gen Zs for the sake of the country. So you can see the problem between Uhuru and Raila Odinga. Uhuru did not want Raila Odinga to join William Ruto. Uhuru wanted Raila Odinga to remain in the opposition, to oppose Ruto's government, and also to remain in Azimio. Once Raila Odinga joined William Ruto, the handshake is actually what killed Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, because the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance was actually Raila Odinga. Without Raila, then Azimio is dead. So I want to know your opinion. I want to know your thoughts concerning this issue. Who do you believe? Do you trust what Raila Odinga told us, that Uhuru played a key role in the formation of the broad-based government and the handshake with William Ruto? And do you think that Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta will once again come together and unite and work together? For me, I don't see that happening soon. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I just wanted to give you that information. My name is Jason. See you in my next video. Bye-bye. I'm out.